Yo, what's up, guys? You're tuning in to the Mindless Corner. I'm your host, AJ, and I got my guest here, Jack, my man, the musician, over here. This is podcast number 4. This is another chill up podcast, nothing too serious. Just gonna see how it goes and, keep evolving, keep working. Jack is a musician, and I brought him out here because I like people who are like really unique, and I feel like Jack, he fills those qualifications. So I want to ask him, how did you start, being a musician?
I think that I've just been really like into music ever since I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
So when I was little, like my parents talk about like when I was a baby that I like was like attracted to music and like rhythm and stuff. My dad plays the piano, and so I grew up around a lot of like really cool music, and I grew up around it.
Let's say at first you were just like really into it. Like, are you like really into it now, like professionally?
I want to give that a try after, because I'm gonna graduate after next semester, and so I've just been like writing a lot and
graduation.
yeah.
I got 2 more years until that happens.
Yeah.
How many like ups and downs that you have to go through to actually like get really good at what you're doing? Because like I personally picked up a hobby of doing piano, but I just really just learned the basics. I'm not really like actively, practicing, doing everything. Does it take a whole lot of practice, a lot of like years of work?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you have to like. So I'm 21 now, and I started playing guitar when I was 10. Pretty consistently from when I was 10 and I started playing guitar until now. I spend part of every day just alone in a room playing guitar, either practicing something that I worked on, or writing, or whatever it is. I've just always kind of been obsessed with it, and so I've just always done it.
I can relate to that. I mean, I started late with writing, but when I first started out, like it was kind of like a addicting thing. Like I couldn't really put it down, and I kept doing it for like hours and hours. It took a whole lot of time. It took a whole lot of time for me to get better too. Like it took years now. It's been over 6 years,
and it's still like I still try to think of myself as like I'm not that much different now than I was when I was 10, because it's like a continuing process. It's not like you reach this point where you're like, all right, like I'm like a master at this now. Like there's such a long way to go. There's no, especially with like art stuff, like music and like writing, like you can't really master whatever you're
there's
doing.
no limit. You just keep evolving.
It changes with you. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I believe that.
And I feel really lucky to have that. Like I can look back on stuff that I've done and think about where I was in life at the time and stuff.
When it comes to arts, I feel like it just happens. Like you don't really have any control over it. It's just like an interest that really grows into like an affection. Like you just can't stop doing it. And
that's right.
You just get better and better at it. Like I really like that. That's why I do what I do. Well, from the way you're talking, it sounds like you're gonna continue with it. So
I don't feel like I have a choice. Like, I feel
at
like
this point,
I could try so hard to fight against it, and like I feel like in a way going to school and like going to college and stuff has been me kind of resisting it. And so it's like whenever I'm doing it, it's like I'm always trying to prove to myself that it's still like what I want to do. 1 class left to take next semester before graduation, and like I still like it's the same. It just hasn't gone anywhere.
Is there any like specific type of like city you plan to be at like after school, or you gonna go off and do your own thing, or find a thing? Or... Like
short term, I think about Memphis or Nashville. Memphis because I know a lot of people there, because I'm from there. Nashville is like big time music, so I can see myself in either of those places, but who knows, wherever it takes me.
Yeah, I feel like with music it is wherever it takes you. Somebody can be listening and be like, hey, come over here and play with us over here, or you just gotta go out there and do it and like see what happens. It's probably the biggest thing, doing instead of not doing. What's the hardest thing you ever done like involving music? Like I'm pretty sure you probably had some times where you got frustrated with like music, like go in detail if you can.
Yeah, sure. It's my relationship with music, it feels like any other relationship where like it has its ups and downs. And so like there have been times like stretches of like 8 months to a year, I feel like, where I just have tried to write and it's just all shit. Like I just can't come up with anything, and I've gotten a lot better. I've mellowed over the last couple of years, but I used to be really worried about like, oh, what if the songs that I wrote in the past that like weren't as that I thought were good, like what if they're terrible?
It's the same thought process.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking about my writing. Like I don't know if it's good or not. Like I just don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I feel shitty that I'm writing this because it feels like shit.
But then a lot of times, at least in my experience, I'll get like so like hung up on one thing, and then I'll play it for somebody, and they're like, no, that's fine.
I think that's the thing that all like people who are like involved with arts go through. Like the fact that they don't see themselves as good enough when they do that work. Honestly, a big lesson that I actually learned this semester was that at the end of the day, feel happy that you accomplished like your art. Like you made that song, you did that chord, or you did that certain thing. Like, just be happy at that, and then grow better from that. You put yourself down a whole lot, you don't really like accomplish too much. You freak out about everything you do.
Yeah, I've been through that, and hopefully that has gotten better like recently. So hopefully, like I won't delve back into that. And the thing that always makes me feel better is to perform, which I've been really slow on for the past probably year or two. But performing always kind of like validates all the all the work that I do by myself.
What instruments do you play?
Okay, in order of how well I play them, guitar is my main instrument, and then I play the piano, and then I just can play chords. Kind of know the layout of the piano, but any piano player who would watch me play piano would say he plays piano like a guitar player. Like, I just kind of slam on it. I play the harmonica, the ukulele. I kind of know the bass, and I can play the drums, I guess.
Yeah, is there anything else you learning to play, or trying to learn how to do, or anything?
Yeah, so I don't have my own electric guitar, and so I've just been playing acoustic like pretty much ever. And my dad has an electric guitar like back home, and so when I want to play an electric guitar, if I'm in Memphis, I can play that one. But I have not learned like lead guitar and blues guitar as well as I want to. I've learned a lot of it on acoustic, which actually helps you, I think, because acoustic is way harder to play if you're like, playing like lead stuff. But I'm not really much of a lead guitar player, so get an electric guitar.
Mellow background type of player.
Well, I don't know about mellow background type of player, because I kind of beat the shit out of the guitar when I play. But yeah, I would like to learn blues guitar, especially being from Memphis. Like, it feels sinful not knowing blues, and I know how to play blues guitar. I'm just not. I'd like to get better at it.
All right, so now we in a real talk session, and we got one topic today. Last time we had two, this time we got one. And today we're talking about, do you believe in destiny, or do you believe that everyone has a destined path? I want to say I believe it, but then I don't believe it. Mostly because, like, when it comes to writing, like, it happened out of nowhere. I don't think it was like a thing that was really destined to happen, because back then I was in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I was in a different city. I was in Atlanta. I had got a bad report card, and then I got grounded. And then when if I didn't get grounded, I wouldn't have been a writer. So that's the funny thing. I got grounded, and I couldn't go outside, couldn't play the game, anything. I said the same thing on my podcast one. Make sure they go check that out. I was just laying in bed and used to read books a whole lot then. Just epiphany came by. It was like, write something up, like entertain yourself. And so I started writing something up, and turns out I was kind of good at it. Like, back then it was like just amateur work, nothing special, but I felt really good about it. And then it was addicting, and I couldn't stop it. We getting off track. Back to the subject. I don't really believe in destiny. I believe that it starts with you. It starts with you making the steps to actually go through with what you want to do in life. You have people who want to be engineers, and some people, they just choose engineers because of the money, but there's some people that choose engineers because they got family that's done the same thing, and that's the same thing they want to do. They made that choice to do that. It wasn't really a family destiny type of thing. It was what they chose to do. Yeah,
I think I'm with you. I don't think it's like a a really deep, like, philosophical question. Yeah. I think that you can separate like my experience of like my relationship with music has been that I've always been like a music person. I've always been, I've always, like, in my head, it's like always been there. I think that's what makes it feel like it's, my path. Yeah. But I think that comes from me, I think that we have the experience of having a destiny or whatever. Mm-hmm. but that, you know, it may not be actually true. But I think that like destiny or fate or whatever, like even if it's not, you know, objectively real, that like it's something that you experience like within yourself, and that a lot of times you don't want to tell other people about, because you could have such a strong sense that like you're meant to do something. And it's been really hard for me because I feel like I'm meant to do it, but then at the same time I don't really believe in the world that people have like destiny, or you know what I mean, like I think you can create it for yourself. It's like a really delicate thing to experience that, and to think that you're meant to do something, and then to, you know, to try to keep that to yourself and work on it, you know.
I believe it all like goes back to like choice, like having the choice of choosing the route. Like I feel like some people, they don't have the choice to choose their route, so that's why they consider it as like destiny. If they're from a background where there really is nothing and there's nothing but violence, like it's gonna end up being more than likely violence if they don't get out of that. And it's kind of like a choice. We was talking about this in got a philosophy class this semester, and we was talking about
what class
this.
is it?
Well, it's philosophy and film, and we watch movies, but we watch like philosophical movies. But usually, in movies like The Matrix, and we talked about what is real life, and it was like really deep. We had watched one movie. It's relating to this. What was it called? It was a crime movie. What is the movie?
what happens in it?
Well, it's just that pre-crime, and they could tell ahead of time that someone's going to commit a crime. It was a big topic on destiny, on whether or not, if it's really true that that person was going to commit that crime, and was it destiny? Was it choice? Did they, like, basically, was it a set path or was it not a set path? That was a big question in the movie. It kept being like a set path because people were on the fringes of committing crime, and the crime agency, they always came in at the last minute to validate that they was gonna commit that crime. And it got turned on top of his head when one guy who they thought was gonna commit a crime, he actually didn't commit it. And then it raised the question on, like, is this the right thing we should be doing? Is destiny really a fickle thing, or is it really choice? The person at that moment making that choice is what determines destiny. Really deep.
Yeah, that's
really,
wild,
really deep.
dude.
Yeah, it's wild. I can't believe I forgot the title, but
I haven't seen like any movies, so I'm sorry I can't help you.
somebody somewhere out there might know.
Hold on, I gotta yawn. Alright. I'm sleepy.
Alright, so that was just a little chill little podcast. We didn't have nothing more than that. Just talking about music, talking about destiny, you know, the deep things that we really need to think about in life. And next week, I might have something for you. I don't know if I'm gonna have someone come on here. It might just be me. But we'll figure it out when we get there. But I'm glad this is the last week of classes. Like, I've been waiting for a break of some kind from just going to class every day.
Yeah.
And that's why next year I'm gonna have Monday and Friday off, because I got all my classes in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh, that's awesome.
And well, most of them are writing classes, and I got 2 lit classes, but they ain't that hard. But yeah, that's all we had today. I'm your host, AJ. This is my guest, Jack.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. We'll see y'all next week.